Antonia's not coming?
They will not be.
Okay. Oh.
I know with the budget.
How are you?
Oh, I didn't pull a packet for myself.
Oh, it's over the top.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
It's,
You know,
I just ask
You hear
everybody
from
that every time I see
restaurants
somebody, I ask somebody
yeah.
how they're doing with that.
We get some J1 students. Tonight I'm picking up my last J1 student.
Yeah.
There's gonna be another one. It's always nice to meet them and see them.
I did 8 of each.
There's two. David's coming.
I can email or print more to him.
Wait, you.
Hey, Pam.
Hello, Pam. How are you?
Pam, how are you?
Thank you. Know that. As we share this in the first.
Yeah.
David. Did David come in there?
This is the same thing that got emailed to you, David and Fran. Oh. Okay. The reason we're short is because I made notes on one and gave it to you already.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to clean packet for.
Okay.
That's okay.
Oh. Yeah, it was probably sitting there.
Is somebody in a chair that position in this board?
Evidently me.
Oh, that
Congrats.
is you. That would be you. I forgot we voted you in there.
Yeah, that's what I get for not being on.
Did you even know?
No, I didn't know this now, but you know, hey. That's okay.
Somebody else, she didn't even know, but she's gonna do
But
it.
it's fine. But I forgot it all here.
Well, yeah, she got the direction. So for you to add that in your page. This is a wish.
Why, I mean. If you want.
Proposed.
There is the proposed budget.
This one.
I think you guys meet what next week?
No, yeah,
Next, usually before July 4th.
Tuesday and Wednesday, yeah,
And
Oh, David's sitting in
right,
his seat.
right, Dale, Tuesday
Am I
and
in the wrong
Wednesday.
seat?
27.
Where do you normally
26,
sit?
27,
27.
27, 28 if we need it. Get something going on every day.
All right, since we're all here, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the Special Joint Recreation Development Corporation City Council meeting, not City Council meeting, sorry. Thursday, June 22nd, 2023 at 3:30 here in Port Aransas City Hall. I don't see any citizens here to comment unless I'm wrong. So let's go jump right to items for consideration. A presentation of general discussion of possible action on budget requests from Parks and Rec Departments. So do you want to go and start?
Yeah. So thank you all for being here. I put together some last minute supporting materials for this. The stapled packet that you have, this is the entire Parks Department wish list. So this includes much more than just RDC. There are notes on what is RDC. But why I wanted you to have this is because some of those RDC wish list items have some imagery to go along with it. So when we're talking about what could happen with a playground at Roberts Point Park, there's some vision board type samples of materials and other playgrounds that are built from things that I think will survive at Roberts Point Park. Things that I hope will survive at Roberts Point Park. So just for convenience sake, I made a table that is all of the RDC wish list expenses combined into one place and totaled. It also has at the bottom of it potential funding sources for these projects in addition to the current balance for RDC. Some of it may be eligible for park dedication fees. Some of it may be eligible for some hot tax. Keep in mind that hot tax pot is not just for us, the whole city is vying for it. So just
Okay, we'll just.
side note,
You won't mind, Lee.
I think it's asking for a fight. And then this more traditional sheet is our line item requests for this year. That's pool, lifeguard supplies, chemicals, maintenance, things like that. Just to give you an idea of what we budgeted for last year and spent so far this year and what we're asking for next year. If you want to get into the nitty gritty, I feel like the big things that we want to talk about today, because we haven't had the council goals workshop yet, are your big wish list items that you'd like to see that fall into RDC. Does my list match your desires? Do you have feedback on that? Some other supporting materials. This is out of our Parks and Open Space Master Plan that we just adopted from Half Engineers. It's the top 10 list. There's 116 recommendations in that list. These are the top 10 out of all of them. And then I also included a schematic conceptual drawing from Roberts Point Park focused on the playground area. That's the number one thing on my wish list for RDC. Our current playgrounds out there are in very poor condition, and they have to come down. I budgeted for them to come down this year. I've been limping them along as long as possible, but we've got plywood screwed into some of the decking because the metal decking is failing. It's rusting at every weld that's out there. There's plastic components that are starting to separate. It's getting to the point where I can't justify replacing parts on it anymore. The whole structures are, just no longer, that's the end of their lifespan. So I don't want to let the park sit vacant without a playground for very long. I feel like it's going to be hard. Folks are going to come out and be disappointed when they see that there's not a structure out there. And so to me, that's my number one goal, is to not catch too much heat for having the park without a playground for a short amount of time. I'm hoping we can expedite. I've been told you can spend 3 months finalizing the design, 3 months for fabrication of materials, and then a month for install and construction. So the contractor that did our splash pad is who I'm talking to. They're on the buy board. It's Craftsman. They're a Texas-based company that has access to a lot of different playgrounds materials, and they think spring, end of March is a good accelerated target date for trying to get that park back up into a landmark, iconic playground that's ADA accessible. And those ideas on what could be included in something like that are in that stapled packet there. So that's number one on the list. Any questions? You want to discuss things as I list them, or do you want me to go through the whole list first?
You can go through the.
Yeah. Okay.
I just have one question on the how long does it include the demo of the?
Demo would happen this year. So before October 1st, before September,
Okay.
We need to take
Like
it
during the
down.
planning stage, you'd be able to demo that.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. So I budgeted $50,000 this year to patch things and take it all apart and haul it off. I took down one play structure out there already. There were 3 main play structures. One is gone, and it came in. I didn't spend a lot of money to get rid of it. So the whole demo, I think I'm still going to have $30,000 left in this year's budget. So it's been a discussion of, is it possible to start design and use those funds left over to get this process started a little quicker. I don't know what,
But it also
Um,
depends on how much it's gonna be to demo the other property, the other pieces.
I have the estimates on that. So I'm pretty confident that we're gonna have a big chunk of change left over from that line item, but it's up to David or council to decide on if we want to fast track that with funds from this year or not. I'm not making eye contact.
We don't have very long people shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have a proposal in place from half that would just need to be signed off on to get that started. We wouldn't have to go out to bid because they're on the HGAC purchasing co-op. And so we could get it rolling fast from that perspective if we feel like that's the right thing to do. Okay, so other things on the RDC wish list, I'm looking at this more black and white table. We have the shade canopies at the pool. They're at the end of their lifespan. I would like to replace them. I would like to add a shade canopy to the splash pad. I feel like it might get utilized more if there was a shady area for parents to sit while kids played. The parking lot at the community park really has a lot of wear and tear. The back northwest corner has some large potholes, but I'd like to seal and stripe the whole parking lot. And one of our pool heaters out of 3 needs to be replaced. The pool has also requested another full-time head guard position. We have one currently. So we have a manager, an assistant manager, and a full-time guard. Because of the hours of the pool being open so much longer, having another full-time head guard there would help us with scheduling, like through the winter time when it's hard to get part-time guards. We could operate with just manager, assistant manager, and 2 full-time guards, even if we were short-staffed. So there's benefits to staff retention and recruitment if there's a benefited full-time position available there.
And that's like 57,000.
Okay, I didn't know what to put there.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
50,
57,000.
Oh, okay.
that is just the hourly pay. It didn't include the benefits. So Darla's number includes the benefit package. Roberts Point Playground design, Roberts Point Playground construction. So those are big ticket items. That's bigger than anything I think well, the birding center was pretty expensive, but those are big ticket items, but I think it's justified in that it's an iconic space within Port Aransas. It's the face of Port Aransas. When you come across the ferry, it's what everybody sees. And I really want to do it right. I want it safety surfacing. I want it ADA accessible. We could go back with a playground that we pick out of a catalog and kids would be happy to play on it. But I think we have an opportunity to really make a statement and have it be a real gem. There's field trips of buses of kids out there. And I just think I've seen some other really impressive playgrounds and I'm jealous. I want one too. I have vehicles in there for our grounds crew. They split this cost between RDC and the general fund because of all the work they do around town in addition to Parks and Rec. So half of a truck is in there, half of a golf cart is in there. A mower for the ball fields specifically. The one that they're using now is just aged out. It's kind of at that stage where it's beyond repair. I do think they would move it to the mobile route and decommission one of the mobile route mowers, but having like precision mowers out on the ball field where we're really focused on turf management is important. That's what lip grinding and soil amendments are. There's a company that will come in and they have some specialized equipment that we don't have. The lips build up where the dirt and the outfield meet, and it's a safety concern. When balls hit that, they bounce up and can hit players. And so we want a nice flat surface out there. They help us maintain that. And they also do things to the soil that make it drain better after rainstorms and help our turf grow better. Roberts Point Park sealing and striping. That's a big one. I just crunched numbers on, and we need to discuss how we would do that. I'm not sure if we could share the expense with the harbor, but it's over $1 million based on the $250 a square yard, because there's just so much parking out there. So that's why there's not a price tag there. I don't have an estimate from an official contractor. I just have a ballpark estimate, and I think it was 1.2 million. The mayor requested additional palm trees at McDonald Field, and I love more shade out there, so I think that's a good idea, and it's in the heart of town, so I think that would look nice. I'm always hearing about shade at the dog park. We did plant some trees, but they're still growing, and it's going to take a while for them to be shady trees. So I'm thinking about adding like a simple trellis shade structure over a couple of picnic tables out there, just to kind of move traffic away from the entrance. That's where a lot of the wear and tear happens. And then another big ticket item is our the neighborhood park next to the community center. Neighborhood park is the landscape planner's terminology for that type of park. It doesn't have an official name or anything yet. And I think that's also eligible for hot tax. So I don't know how much would come out of RDC, but I stuck it on here just to make sure it was discussed. And so all that together is 3.35 million. That's double what we asked for last year, more than double. So I'd be interested to hear if there's anything missing from this list, or anything that you feel is not a priority that maybe you'd want to push back. Yeah, I'd like to hear from you.
Well, just a question, if you added the sill and stripe for Roberts Point, that would make that 4.5 million, right?
Right.
Okay, and plus the extra 25,000 for the pool guard.
Yeah.
Okay,
Striping is a lot less expensive than sealing and striping. So I do have some numbers on just striping, like if we wanted to restripe the spaces and not seal, and that's probably under 30,000. I have, yeah.
Is the ceiling of the Roberts Point Park area, is that the old ferry snake?
No, that parking lot looks fabulous.
That's-
That's brand new.
So-
Doesn't need work. This is all on the head-in parking that goes past the playgrounds and around the loop and past the harbor in front of the harbor master.
But it's not the marina parking where boats go. That's not
No.
RDC.
There is some head-in parking next to the marina parking that I calculated in. But it's just the parking that's head-in along the driveways.
so it doesn't include anywhere where they park the boat trailers or anything like that?
No,
That's not us or RDC.
We were talking about the shade canopies, and do you have different costs for wood or?
I'm waiting on
Oh.
hard estimates. I got some estimates on really custom, like the splash pad. There's a shade structure that looks like a flower.
That's my next question. Would it be
And
a theme with the splash pad?
You can go that way if you want to go that way, but it was $35,000 for one flower.
Oh.
So it depends on how fancy you want to get.
Would it also have like a mister?
Not,
Like, okay,
no,
I know you were talking about some things for adult mister, something that adults could go in and get.
I'm
little with the kids.
proposing that a cooling station, I'm gonna trademark that,
There you go.
be a component out at the Roberts Point playground. So instead of going full splash pads can be done two different ways. You can do a flow through system where you're just running the faucet and it's going down the drain. And you can do a recirculating system, which is what we have at the pool. And there's a tank of water that's filtrated and recirculated. They're very expensive. So I'm proposing a few small features that use very little water and having it be a flow through system, because if we do a huge splash park that's flow through, it's wasting a lot of water. If we have a couple components that just do misting, it's enough to cool you down. It'll be fun, but it's not a full-fledged splash park. It's just a cooling station.
Question on the playground. The two questions. will that new design be more durable than the current, or just because we're dealing with?
So the current playground is built out of powder coated steel. All the framework, the posts on it, they're actually okay. Where it's failing is the welds. And then the decking is like an expanded metal, expanded steel that has a rubberized porous coating over it. And it just really did not hold up in this environment. And the playground manufacturer now is saying, first of all, I'm talking to a different company and they said we would never put that type of material in this environment. And so the materials that are depicted in this packet are a few different things. The fake rocks and the whale, those are from a company called Themed Concepts, and it's a fiberglass reinforced concrete. So it's not going to corrode. You can customize it to be anything you want. You could make a big marlin, you could make a mermaid, you can have their company design whatever you want. They do have a catalog where you can pick a treehouse or a fish skeleton or a flamingo slide. That's where these photos came from, but they do Disney's stuff. So like Animal Kingdom type thing.
So it would be more durable than what's currently.
So
out there.
that's more durable. The other materials like the bottom of page 4, the little rescue boat, and that's actually a big shrimp boat. The picture kind of makes it look like the same size as the rescue boat, but that's made out of R3. It's a recycled plastic product, and the framing is also made from that recycled plastic, which when this first came out, the frames were still powder coated metal. And so they've just started doing the posts in the recycled plastic as well. So I think that would fare better. Wood is always an option. That's bottom of page 4. And then the rope climbing structures, there are some powder coated steel parts of them, but the majority of them are rope. And then there's a company called Lapset out of Finland. They work through craftsmen and they have recycled plastic, they have wood, and they have these like iconic centerpiece, almost like sculptural features that are play features. So that's on page 6. Just some examples of what they had on their website. They're another company that you could say, I want you to build me a 20-foot whale, and they would design a play structure that looks like a 20-foot whale or whatever. So this is really just for imagination and creativity, putting all these things. This doesn't mean the playground's going to include all these things or even look like any of them, but it's a starting place to say these are the materials I think we need to look at. Minus the sea creature, that's all metal. It just was a cool thing to get your imagination going, but the materials, wood, recycled plastic, fiberglass reinforced concrete.
And just a second question. If all those funds weren't available, if just a portion could be budgeted, is that a scalable playground? Could you do part of it?
Depending on what features you pick,
Yeah.
it affects the price tag greatly. If you take out the water component, that could be $100,000 component. So this could be, scaled to a different budget if needed.
So when you talk about the 2.1 million, you're talking about that area number 8.
Yes,
Robert
and so
Point.
it also would include hardscaping like sidewalk reconfiguration, irrigation, landscaping, shade. That 2.1 is renovating that whole area, phase 1. It does not include that big covered basketball, number 6. It's number 8, basically, and that whole surrounding area of any site work that needs to be done.
So now we have mulch down there now, right?
Yeah.
You'd be getting rid of it and putting down some of this.
They call it safety surfacing, or I think the company is called Top Turf. It's like this blue, you can
Right.
do anything with it. You could make it look like a field of flowers. You could make it look like waves. You could make it look like dunes. It's really versatile. There's different levels of it. There's some that are like the base level is a bigger grit and it has black in with it. And then the finer the grain size and the more color, the more expensive it gets, the higher durability it has. They can vary which types of surfacing they use in different locations, like at the bottom of a slide or underneath swings. You might want to upgrade to the more durable surfacing, whereas, you know, if you're just wanting like blue swirls around the outside, that could be the larger grain size, less wear resistant stuff.
I mean, has the mulch? If you're gonna do something nice and spend that kind of dollars, do you want that kind of ground cover? And will that ground cover last longer than possibly the structures? I'm just,
It's interesting. It's a good, so we have a little bit of this safety surfacing, probably from the original construction of the community park. My guess is in the early 90s.
and it's still good.
And it's underneath the swing set that's by the pool, my last remaining eyesore swing set, but I love it anyways. And there's still rubber surface under there. The cost benefit analysis, they did a 10-year span between the safety surfacing and mulch. The mulch you constantly have to replenish. It has to stay at a certain depth in order to keep its fall capacity. There's a different term, but that's what I'm gonna call it. And you know, Robert's point, it blows out, kids kick it out, and so it just constantly has to be maintained. And it's not that nice. It's not wheelchair friendly. It's not 1-year-old friendly. She's out there eating the mulch. Like, I don't want to sit down and mulch, but I'd kick my shoes off and run around on this thing all day. So I mean, if we're gonna do an iconic landmark park, it's the right way to do it.
I mean, we used to have the pirate ship there, and now we have
Still
a
there.
smaller one.
So there were 3 playgrounds. One was an actual ship. It was all the same theme.
Right.
So there's like I guess it's still a ship, but there's like the taller structure. That's the newest one. It went in right before Harvey. That one's remaining out there. Excuse me. And then the smallest one is closest to the parking area for the little bitty kids with the white PVC fence around it. That one's still there. But not much longer. Like, if we can get through August, it's got to come down after that. I have the demo guy kind of on standby because I hate to take it out because I hate it to be empty out there, but also there's just no fixing it at this point. When the deck started to fail, it really made me sad and nervous. Yeah, we've got plywood. Technically, it's passing safety criteria right now, but by a hair.
I haven't seen anything for the neighborhood park community center. $8,000. What?
I'm
It is just
sorry
in
that I did not
greenery,
include a
or is
rendering of that. I should
it's-
have.
Any
Oh, there is a
greenery?
rendering of
Yeah,
it.
there is. Oh, it's right there. I missed it.
Sorry, we've
Sorry,
been whipping
I
these
read that.
together
9 pages.
for the last week or
Thank
two.
you. Sorry, I missed that component.
Right, so that would be overflow parking for the community center, which is very important. There would be like a bandstand pavilion in the middle. It could hold a Christmas tree, it could hold a concert, it could hold line dancing, it could, you know, be the home for lots of activities. And then there's a shade structure just along the parking lot for people to escape the heat and sit in the shade. There would be a wayfinding component out here, the Chamber's wayfinding program. There would be some kind of mapping to say you're here, the beach is this way, the park is this way. And then I just wanted kind of open green space because you can use it as an event space. You could have our Christmas celebration out there. You could have the art centers, craft fair, you know, it would just be kind of outdoor, multi-purpose space, walking path around it. You could have some public art out there. You could have sculpture that kids could play on. There's a lot of possibilities. This is under contract right now to do civil engineering and landscape design and planning. There's 2 contracts that are.
Have we already shut that street?
No. I mean, yeah, I mean, legally, yes, but we haven't.
I just didn't know if it had already been started or.
I think the replat of that is in process.
Did we ever, remember we were talking about bathrooms for the outside? We were talking on adding on to
the community center, but having them still looking at that.
That would need to be a separate architectural engineering component. It's not currently in the what's under contract for the
Yeah,
civil
okay.
and the
I
landscaping
didn't
right now.
know they included that or not.
Does that 800,000 include the parking lot?
Yes, it's total construction costs.
Okay. And how big of areas, I just roughly that greens, the lawn area, how big of a area is that?
It's 3 lots on the appraisal district.
I don't remember what it was.
I'm just curious, as a
Half acre.
yeah, twice the size of, 3 times the size of this room, or just
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
just kind of get an indication of how big. Yeah. Okay. 20,000 square
Have you
feet.
been-
Things almost an acre, right?
Have you been to the museum or the community
Yeah,
center?
yeah.
So that's the green
Yeah,
space
that's-
out front.
yeah.
So 3
So
times that.
20,000.
This is probably a little bit late for that, but I remember
Yeah.
UT Marine Science Center, Fort Harvey, had just opened a green walk space where you can see all the natural plants and stuff like that. Is that incorporated anything in here at all? Like you could have,
All the landscaping
about-
that I've
know.
introduced since I've been here, I go native.
Yeah.
If it's a replacement of something like an oleander that was killed, I'll put an oleander back, but everything new, I try and do native just to be water conscious, and the stuff does better. Like
Yeah.
it's the native and adaptive species are really the way to
if
go.
you had some signage, like it could be another feature, for people just to stop and do a little.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the garden club takes care of the flower beds in front of the community center, and they had been working on educational signage for a long time. Do you have an update on that?
No.
Okay,
I don't.
it might be something that they would want to partner on and make it
I think. they would.
educational, expand what they're doing.
Just move it right down where it is.
So I think, are we, any more questions for anything? We,
So this is taking it to 4.5 million.
If that parking is included.
the ceiling is right.
But so nobody else is gonna pay for the ceiling and the parking. If it's getting done, it's gonna come from the RDC.
No. it's
Harbor-
Probably, that's gonna be hot tax funds.
But is that gonna be
I mean, that
for,
would be similar.
both
like if the
areas?
Marina was gonna do their half, we're gonna pull that up.
So should we just negate that whole line item?
Yeah, I think you
Well,
guys,
what you would do though, we put it in the RDC budget and then transfer. from the
Yeah.
Special RDC.
so leave it in.
So leave it in.
But
then I would
nobody
do-
else would take responsibility for doing that. Because it's
well, no,
Roberts
that's,
Point Park and
no,
those are for
sometimes,
there.
sometimes the city steps in and just like from the admin, because we've done Roberts Point Circle before, and it was not done under the marina nor the park. It was just a citywide street project.
Was it a bond?
It was in a bond. Yeah, so, yeah, J.C. Bar Boulevard, probably 2009. So it wasn't, yeah, so it wasn't done by Parks and Rec, Nature Preserve, RDC, or the Marina. It was just done by council.
No.
It was a large streetwide project.
So maybe an idea could be, we just stripe our parking spaces, because that's really our concern right now is you can't, there's some parking spaces that you just can't tell where they are. So maybe we go with striping, and then if a bigger street project were to come through, they could resurface.
Yes.
Okay,
Cause the new parking where the ferry snake used to be, that is Roberts Point parking.
But it's new.
No, no, it's new,
technically, it
but at
was
some
part of
point-
the EDA project, which was a marina project, so it's intended to be,
Half of it's boat trailer park.
Oh, that's right.
it's very close to my
I'm
soccer
just
field
thinking
though.
of the future, the next time this comes around by defining, hey, if their heads into Roberts Point Park. That makes sense for RDC to be responsible.
It's a
for it.
good point.
Or fishing,
You know, personally, I'd rather leave all the big parking and striping projects
out.
out of just leaving them at council's level. And include them with street and drainage projects.
I like
This is-
that.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you got, yeah,
The community park has a real need for a fix. The,
Yeah. and I walk
Deteriorating.
there barefooted.
wow, that's like a,
It's hot.
Not fun. No, it's pedaling.
The rocks.
That's what hurts. It's not hot.
were you trying to prove something or what? You just forgot your shoes.
No.
Highland boy. Okay. So scratch 1.2 million and maybe we put 30K for striping. That's probably an overestimate. And then we still do need to consider community park. Where is that?
That is the responsibility of RDC. Or review,
The parking over there, yeah, I think so. Not the street out there. 'cause
no,
that's
not
still
the
a
street,
big-
but once you get in there.
And I need some clarification still on. Like the number that we used for this estimate was from the engineers and they called it resurfacing. So I don't need asphalt brought out and to totally resurface it. I just wanted the tar like sealant and striping. So these numbers may change a little bit. I just wanted to make sure they were on the list.
So top 10 recommendations, number 2. Multi-purpose park offices and recreation facility.
That
That's not on here.
it's in my big department wish list, but it doesn't fall under RDC's responsibility.
It's gonna be a citywide item that's coming to you guys. So it's goals for- Okay.
But there is in this packet for your reading enjoyment, and you'll get it with the big packet. There's a cost estimate from an architectural firm on a similar size facility that our community could support and some renderings of a similar facility in Montana, and then a wish list of what I'd like to see included in that, just for you to check out later.
So was that a smaller version of the original one that we voted on that time?
What's that?
The recreation center?
There's been
The
a
what
couple of,
version?
the bond issue, it's smaller, yeah.
This is smaller,
Mhm.
yeah.
This is the third version,
Yeah.
There
I know
was a-
there's been a few.
pre-Harvey version, post-Harvey version, 2023 version. It's like,
So that will put your office in there.
nature preserve, parks and rec, youth programs, community programs, probably an event coordinator. I don't want to get into the weeds on that facility though. That could eat up a lot of our time, but you're welcome. You can come talk to me anytime.
Okay,
It'll be on Tuesday's agenda.
okay.
Okey-dokey, anything else that on the budget that anyone wants to discuss?
I guess the 4 palm trees are $12,000.
I know. it doesn't
For a
have
12-foot Texas sable palm is 2,500.
Really?
Freeze hardy.
Do palms offer that much shade tree, or should we be
I could
putting
buy the sables.
some other kind of trees
Are
in
they
shade?
600. Huh?
Oh,
Freeze hardy?
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
can you
down the
shade
field.
trees instead of palm
10
trees?
feet.
There's palm trees out there already, so that's like adding to
Okay.
the consistency of the look. And they do better without irrigation, like you need to water them to get them initiated, then you can neglect them later.
Yeah.
Which is why we go Texas sable, because it's a native.
I didn't know they Texas sables were more expensive than the Florida.
I'll get multiple estimates, I'll make
Yeah.
sure I'm getting a good deal.
It does seem kind of
Nice
nice with
big
the more
old oak
trees.
tree. 20 years from now. Nice shade.
Yeah, but the problem with oak trees, and it's just a side note, is they get to a certain height and the leaves just come right off the
And
top.
then-
I have one in my front yard, and yeah, once it hit the top of the house, the other half, no leaves on the top. So, like, it's not going any bigger.
I had found a guy that
And the
Florida
dog.
and
big
Texas
shade
tables for $500 and $600, 10 or 12 feet
hanging out.
installed. It's well used,
Send me his number.
and they've done a great job on
Oh, yeah.
making it better all the time.
Yeah.
The dog park.
So if we weren't doing the $2.1 big $1 billion Roberts Point Park, which it's time to do, you wouldn't necessarily be asking for double what last year was, keeping up. That's a big project. That's a big expensive project.
The neighborhood park is 800,000. That's a big ticket item. The
There's-
playground.
But isn't that mostly hotel?
Well, but what we're doing isn't like normal stuff, replacing stuff. These are big projects.
New
that
projects.
we want in the city and need to be done in the city.
Well, and a good justification for them is we just spent. I feel bad about the playgrounds at Roberts Point Park. I feel like I would have never let them get to this point. I should have had a replacement out there. However, this last year, it was really important that we put this master plan together. And so I feel like I kind of sat on my hands while we were putting this plan together. So now it's really time to spring into action. Like we spent a whole year making sure we knew.
Look at it that way. You've been holding.
There
back
you go.
to Hurt yourself.
Thank you,
You've been
Dale.
holding back to
Excellent.
expense. Now
Charlotte, hear that?
it's time to go.
All right,
Hurt.
number 4, RDC council comments and items for future consideration. Anyone have anything that you'd like to add? I know I would like to push forward, just me personally, the nature park for paddling access. That'd be something that I would like for next year. Or
So
the-
that is in the wish list for this year, but that's a nature preserve item. So
Okay.
RDC doesn't pay for that.
Oh, yeah.
The nature preserve
I'll make-
fund covers that, and it is the third bullet item under nature preserve on the end of this page.
Oh, okay. That is awesome. Any other comments?
Did we skip the date one?
Yes. We did?
So the item 3B. You guys need to choose meeting dates. We need to have
Oh.
2 more.
We did.
And the city's meeting dates are Tuesday, August the 8th. For their first time where they're looking at the budget workshop. And then the meeting to pass will be on Thursday, September the 7th. And so we traditionally always had the RDC, but public hearings at the same time as the cities, because we have to advertise them in the jetty. And it goes in as one big ad, so.
It's like
The
a
September
joint.
7th really is pretty much already set. If y'all do not want your budget workshop the same day as the council. You don't need to do that, but
6/27 is the budget workshop.
No, that's cool.
that's council goals workshop. That's what you're doing that right now.
Okay. So 8/8 and 9/7 are your wish dates.
8/8 is fine for me. 9/7, I will be out of town.
The 9/7 is the one that really can't.
We are missing Tanya and
Sure.
Chuck.
And you only need 4 of them.
I don't have conflicts with any of that.
So August 8th. Is our budget meeting.
So do we convene on August 8th before the other budget workshop?
Traditionally, that's what we've done. We've had an RDC budget workshop first, and then go into the council's budget workshop. Did we do last year 4? I did 4 and then 5. We did 4 for RDC and 5 for council. Because then that's when you would have a complete proposed budget in your hand to look at the whole RDC. What she's talking about is just the capital things, not the operational side.
Right.
And has it worked doing that in the past? That's not a
Yeah.
problem? Okay, good.
So we need one more date before 8/8. No, okay, sorry.
No, I mean, not if you
I don't
kind of
think
know
so.
what you're gonna be putting in your budget to request.
Do you need to meet before?
You guys didn't surprise me with anything at all.
Darn it. Um, Okay, so. We just have the dates. So yeah, anything else for future consideration? Think so. Thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
you
your-
guys serving.
Excellent. And this meeting's over.
Me too. If you guys think of anything, you know, after you sleep or whatever, you have my email address, you know, my office is just